Tuesday and going for 3 days. It's kind of odd this year. New Year's fell in kind of a different time. But prayer and fasting, you heard me say, you'll never rise above your prayer life. Possibly the greatest gift God has given to the church is to pray and fast, and many times the least used. There seems to be two streams in the Bible when it comes to men and women's hearts moved to tears. Even Jesus gave us this revelation of God's heart. One of these was over the souls of men and women. The desire to see people saved. A burden so overwhelming. Their lostness, their brokenness. Place their sin has brought them. Jesus says in Luke, as he drew near, he saw the city. He's looking at Jerusalem, and he wept over it. Saying, if you had known, even especially today, the things that make for your people, but now they are hidden from your eyes. He wept over souls. There's another stream in the Bible where men and women in prayer begin to weep, prayer and fasting, and laying hold of God. Hebrews 5:7 refers back to the text I'm about to read, who in those days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplications with fervent cries and tears to him who was able to save him from death, and was heard because of his godly fear. In one garden, the Garden of Eden, man rebelled, and redemption was lost. Sin entered. Curses were loosed. In our text, there's another garden, the Garden of Gethsemane. And here, another man, Jesus Christ in the flesh, prayed, wept, and cried out to God, and redemption and the road to redemption begin to be exercised. Let me ask you, do you have a heart to pray and fast? Fast is simply going without food. It's not fasting broccoli. Giving up peanuts or something, spinach. In Mark 14, a very powerful portion of Scripture, very familiar, verse 32. Then they came to the place which was named Gethsemane. And he said to his disciples, sit here while I pray. And he took Peter, James, and John with him, and he began to be troubled and deeply distressed. Then he said to them, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Stay here and watch. And a little further, fell on the ground and prayed, if it were possible that this hour, this cup might pass from him. And he said, Abba, Father, all things are possible to you. Take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not what I will, what you will, or your will be done. And he came and found them sleeping. And he said to Peter, Simon, are you sleeping? Could not you watch, or could not you pray 1 hour? Watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. Powerful truth right here. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Again he went away and prayed and spoke the same words. And when he returned, he found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. They did not know what to answer him. Then he came the third time and said to them, are you still sleeping and resting? It is enough. The hour has come. Behold, the Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand. You can also read this account in Luke and etc. Father, we come tonight by your blood. God, give us revelation of spiritual opportunity and spiritual weapons you placed in the hands of your people. God, I pray this people might fast and pray. God, they would call upon your name. Our nation is desperate. This generation is broken. Families are stripped beyond imagination. We need you to rend the heavens and come down. God, I pray, hear the prayer, the cry of this people throughout our fellowship in these few days. In Jesus' name, amen. Prayer and fasting is a physical action on our part that brings a spiritual and a supernatural intervention on God's part. That's a powerful statement. Here you are with all your problems, with your issues of life, all of your history dynamics. And yet you can begin to pray and fast. And this moves God into the arena of your life. He begins to intervene in your affairs, in a nation, in a people, in other people. Think of the possibilities of that. Right in our text, we see, no doubt, the greatest conflict and crisis of Jesus' life here on earth. The battle is being drawn. You can only imagine the demonic forces begin to assemble over Jerusalem. All hell is arraigning itself. All of its abilities, demonic powers, influence. This is the week before the cross. The hardness and unbelief of men everywhere is evident when you read the story. Rejection by his own people, the Jewish people. The malice, wicked words spoken by leaders of the Jews and Gentiles, religious and civil leaders. Betrayal by one of his own. His name is familiar, Judas. His disciples deserted him. Peter, I never knew him. The injustice of the trial, the injustice and all that was involved. I wash my hands of this man. Give us Barabbas. All of these things. The ridicule, the pain, the scourging, spit upon, beaten, bruised, mocked, the crown of thorns, offered vinegar, all of these things. And God is allowing sin to be taken on by the Son of God. And even on the cross, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? He had to do this portion alone. There's probably, no doubt, in all of history, never been such an array of demonic forces assembled in one place against one individual. The mental agony. We get a picture of this as it were great drops of blood, the emotion, the physical agony. Every demonic strategy, all the power of hell is gathered for one aim, to turn the Son of God perhaps away from the cross, away from redemption, and to negate your salvation. He's the Son of God, but he's the Son of man. The Bible says he was tempted in all points as you and I are tempted, yet without sin. He's displayed his deity. He's walked on water. Massive crowds have gathered. He fed them with a little boy's lunch. He was on the Mount of Transfiguration. Moses and Elijah are there. Peter is so overwhelmed. Let us build 3 tabernacles. God speaks from heaven. He's healed the sick. Blind Bartimaeus called the lame to walk. Raised the dead. But now there's a shift from deity to humanity. He's all alone, basically, in the flesh. and the disciples are sleeping. The Bible says he began to be troubled and deeply distressed. Said, my soul was exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. And here we find Jesus in the position of prayer. Here we see the Son of God. This is God in the flesh, and yet he's prayed. Not just once, but 3 times. If he had to pray 3 times in a crisis, how much more? The Bible says he prayed, went a little further, fell down to the ground and prayed. Second time he went away and prayed. He left them and went away again a third time. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly. Matthew. And that his sweat became, as it were, great drops of blood falling to the ground. Wonder what he's thinking. He's praying, God. I want to go. There's enough pain. I wonder if he's thinking, I've displayed my deity, but I want to display my humanity. They're going to mock me. The embarrassment strip me, curse me, spit upon me. God, I've had it. I can't imagine, Father. I'm not sure. I don't want to go through this. Enough is enough. This prayer that he prays is not some quick, cute little public prayer. Being in agony, growing more intense, more and more, it's heavier and heavier. This contending until the veins literally begin to explode. These tears, he fell to the ground. I don't want to put my pain on public display. I don't want to. Not my will. It's not a little skip through the prayer room. See who's there, make your appearance, and walk out. Think of this, all eternity, all that you and I experience, your life, your salvation, not just of you, but of millions, is weighing upon this moment. Hannah in the Old Testament, you know her story, perhaps she's barren. There was a reproach, a ridicule with barrenness. She's in the temple, she's praying. And she's so out of sort. In 1 Samuel 1, Eli comes in and he says, how long have you been drunk? And she says, I'm not drunk. She's praying in agony and sorrowfulness of heart. And she birthed Samuel. She didn't just birth a son, but she birthed a prophet. 2 books carry his name. Listen to me. The miracle of fruitfulness is born in prayer. How many sons and daughters have your prayers birthed? The Bible says no man comes to God except the Spirit draws him. Your prayers have the ability to engage God and enlist the hearts of men and women unto salvation. Are you bearing spiritual sons and daughters through prayer and fasting? You will never win the real battles of life without prayer. You will not birth things apart from prayer. Some of you here, you desperately, we're going to get to some areas of issue, but if you're going to birth ministry, if you're going to birth destiny, calling is birthed in prayer. What are you birthing in prayer? hell's forces here that are gathered. You may function as a Christian without prayer, but you will never be successful or have victory in the spiritual arena without prayer. I'll say it again. You will never rise above your prayer life. The two greatest enemies, I mentioned this morning, I was going to touch this tonight. The two greatest enemies in all of life are defeated in prayer. One is your will. In this prayer, he says, not my will, but your will be done. These are possibly some of the most powerful, profound, far-reaching words ever spoken through human lips. And they were spoken in prayer. All eternity is balanced on these words. The battle between my will and God's will. Think of this. It's not just true of Jesus, it's true of you. What is waiting behind the prayer and fasting that you come to the place, not my will, God, but your will be done. The issues of salvation and redemption rise and fall right here. We don't mind surrendering things to God that we never wanted in the first place. God, get rid of my drug addiction. Glory, thank you, Jesus. Take away the Satan. I'm tired, God. This poverty spirit that follows me like a shadow. Here, I give you the whole, from the Alpha to Omega. You can have it all. We don't mind giving things or surrendering things that we don't want. They're painful. They're a nuisance. They're an agony. God, my broken, crazy marriage. You can have it. You can take it more. He's all yours. Do whatever you have to do. We don't mind that. In fact, we enjoy it. Deliverance. Thank God he delivers. But think of this. Jesus, God's Son, never sinned. And he had to pray 3 times when it came to self-will. It's one of your greatest battles in all of life is self-will. One of the problems with self-will, if you don't surrender to God your will, you have to defend it. You have to defend your decisions, your rebellion, your resistance, your disobedience. And the way you defend it is you justify. That's how you live with yourself, is you justify. Most people justify by blaming, finding fault, pointing the finger, making excuses. What if Jesus has said no? No, I don't want to go to the cross. I don't want to die for these people. Look at it. Look what they're going to do to me. And I'm just speculating for an illustration. It wouldn't have ended there. He would have had to defend that. God, you know, Father, you're not down here where I'm down here. You're up there in cushy heaven. Angels everywhere, streets of gold. I'm down here in the mud and the blood and the beer trying to get some craziness out of these people. That's the way it works. Thank God he did. But if he had to pray 3 times, what do you need to surrender to God that's involved in your will? Forgiveness. I won't forgive. They deserve. Gospel. You need to witness. Love people that are unlovable. Surrender to go to the corners of the earth. There's people here who'd be doing what? Just approaching a building in Bangladesh. Pete Sammy Wakefield. maybe we'll making some drawings of this building. Bangladesh. Remember when Pete and Sandy went there? And he accidentally went into India. And then once he went into India, he couldn't go back to Bangladesh. And so when he flew back to Bangladesh, his visa was null and void. And so they snatched him. We're getting these phone calls. What, they spend 3 days in the airport, thinking they may never come out. They took their passports. I mean, it was Sandy's calling, Pastor, pray, Pastor, pray. I could feel in her voice that, I've been a missionary. I'll never see America again. And yet, after all of that, they turned around and went back, have a religious visa. I'm telling you, there was a lot of surrendering. They're not kids. Never too old to go. Campbell 27. Never too old to go. They're grandparents. And so, self-will is this wicked beast. I'm right. I'm right. And you defend it to the bone. Jesus evidently found the strength to surrender his will to his Father's will in prayer. That tells me, if he had to pray 3 times, that tells me if you don't pray and fast, somewhere you'll miss God. Listen to me carefully. You can ask me, Pastor Campbell, how do you survive all these years? How do you 43 years preaching and all that. How do you survive? We this and that and all the stuff. How do you survive? Well, one thing is praying. Prayer. Fasting. Prayer. If you don't pray, somewhere God will be saying right and you'll go left. Somewhere you will miss the voice of God. Somewhere you will miss God's direction. Somewhere you'll be deceived by the demonic. And that's going to compute out in your life. Who knows how many souls in the last 2,000 years were waiting on that prayer? Let me ask you something. Let me get real with you. Let me ask you something. How many souls are waiting behind your prayer? You can gab about everything. Run your mouth. But when it comes to God, get on social, get your little thumbs flying on a machine to people you don't really even know. Can I just say this? I'm amazed. People put all their business out there on the social media and then wonder why people talk about you. Don't be stupid. Can I say that? Is that okay to say? Don't be stupid. You put your business out there, they're going to talk about you. Of course they are. That doesn't take rocket science. Oh, glory to God. If you don't pray and fast, somewhere your will supersede God's will. Every time you rebel, I wonder, is God's redemption hindered or limited? The second thing that is in this text that's powerful is your temptations. This is the two greatest battles in life is your will and temptations. He said you need to pray that you enter not into temptation. Watch and pray lest you enter into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. The temptations that appeal to your appetites. Flesh man. John said the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life. Why do so many of God's people fall into temptation? They could be in church, powerfully touched by God, worshiping God, be baptized in water, and then 6 months, a year, sometimes even longer, it's always interesting when you examine these people. There was no prayer. Oh, they may threw up a few foxhole prayers, but I'm talking about watch and pray. Prayer, when you begin to pray, there's something of God's divine nature that begins to be transmitted into your soul. A strength, a discipline. Energized. Jesus fasted and prayed his way through the wilderness, where the 3 temptations came. If you be the Son of God, turn these stones to bread. He was fasting 40 days, praying through the wilderness of life, the barren place, the desolate place, the place where the enemy seems to have every advantage. He's basically alone there. If you be the Son of God, cast yourself from the temple. It is written, angels catch you. It is written. If you be the Son of God, if you'll bow down to him, I'll give you the kingdoms of this world. He overcame temptation, and so will you in prayer and fasting. Prayer and fasting is how you defeat your greatest enemy. And I understand the demonics behind that, strategies and people, and etc. Jacob in the Old Testament, his name is his character and identity. Jacob means he's a con man. He's a ripoff. He's a deceiver. He plays the games. And he's coming back to destiny. The Bible says he encounters the angel of the Lord, and there's this wrestling all night long. God knocked his hip out of joint, basically saying, you will not enter destiny the way you are. You're going to have to pray. There's going to have to be some changes. You're sitting here this evening. No doubt you see some Jacob in you. You see areas that need to shift, need to be changed. It was in prayer that God changed his name from Jacob to Israel, prince with God, and changed his nature. And he became a nation of Israel. 12 sons, all of those things that happened in prayer. What about you? I preached a month or 2 ago. Here's Peter. Jesus is speaking to Peter. Simon, Simon, Satan desires to sift you as wheat. Think of all he could have said. I've put a hedge around you. I've cast out a legion of demons like I did at the Manitoba Gatherings for you. My blood, don't worry, Peter. But in all, I've raised dead people. All he could have said, he said, I pray for you that your faith fail not. And then he spoke the faith of prayer. He spoke the faith of prayer. And when you have recovered, strengthen the brother. Pastor Gary Mullins was sharing with me before the service. He had this photograph of this young lady in China that just returned from Guangzhou, China, 4 years as missionary. And this woman, her sister was in the church, her twin. And this woman had backslidden, young, probably looked to be in her 20s. Sometimes Asians can, but probably in her 20s. She backslid. She become highly depressed. She's suicidal. She won't come out of her room. No one, I mean, she's locked in. She's turned the gas on in her apartment, in her room, trying to kill herself. And Pastor Mother said, I used to tell her sister, listen, you need to believe God. She can be saying, no, my sister, she'll never come back. And yet here she is. They prayed. And here she is in this photograph. She got powerfully converted. She's being baptized. And she's testifying because you can pray for other people and intervene and cause them to recover. How powerful is that? Let me close this evening. He said, Jesus basically said, would you pray with me? Saying to you tonight, listen, would you pray with me? As I said, he's in this desperate demonic battle beyond description. And 3 times he goes back. Here's the Son of God, the Son of Man. I just wanted somebody to pray with me. You know, it's powerful sometimes when you pray with people. Just pray with them. Let's pray. They come with a problem. They come with a pain. They come with desperation. They come with brokenness. They come with agony. They come with life. They're struggling. Let's pray. I wonder, the disciples, I wonder if they later had discussion concerning this. I wonder if later, later in the book of Acts somewhere, it's not recorded that I'm aware of, but I wonder if the rest says, remember when we was in the garden? Remember John, when Jesus come back, the way he looked, some blood kind of running down his face. And he said, why are you sitting here? I wonder if he said, if we had have known, if we would have known what was at stake, we would have got up, we would have been praying. If we knew all that was involved, if we knew what was coming at it, if we knew then what we know now, we would have prayed. I wonder one day when we stand in heaven, and our eyes being open, I wonder if we'll say, oh, Lord, I'm sorry. If I'd have just known, I didn't understand all that was in. I didn't see how critical it was. Is that you? Is that me? Why don't you pray? Why don't you pray? Is sleep more valuable than prayer? Are you just lazy, spiritual lazy, carnal, the Bible calls it? I don't people, are you, I'm too busy, I'm too busy, I'm too busy. I'm going to go here, going there, right here. Hey, come out. Come out, okay? I got this to do and that to do and there to go and then. I'm amazed with all the modern conveniences. I'm 76 years old. I tell people, my mother never had one appliance in the house. No appliances. We didn't have outlets in the house because we had nothing to plug in. We had a light bulb that hung down in the middle of the room. And I can remember we went modern. They screwed apparatus in there that had a couple of outlets, and then you could screw a bulb in. I'm amazed with none of those conveniences how much time my mother had for me. Have you got so many gadgets you have no time for God? No time. Think of that. No you spent a tenth of the time a day that you do on social media, how powerful you would be. You wouldn't be floozying around. Still recognize that term? Wouldn't be all trying to imitate some sinner, some rapper, some sport. What's your excuse? What's your excuse, Rick? What's your excuse? They were sleeping. We've got other things to do. I've got responsibilities. Abraham prayed. Prayed for his nephew, Lot. Interceded. God, if there be 50, would you spare the city? If there be 40, would you spare? If there be 30, if there be 20, if there be God, would you spare the city? God said yes. Evidently, there weren't 10 righteous because Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. But Lot did come out. All I'm asking you is, would you pray and fast? Would you pray and fast these few days? 365 days out of the year. Twice a year we have prayer and fasting. Others fast from time to time. Others go on their own fast. God ever do? There's times God deals with me. You need to fast. You need to fast. Something powerful happens when you say no to food. How many ever fasted? Did you notice how you became more spiritual? Did you notice that? That's what I'm preaching about. If you're going to defeat your will and move in redemption, the instrument of redemption, if you're going to defeat temptation, different strategies, it's very much linked to prayer and fasting. I ask you to bow your head with me this evening. To show you how powerful prayer is. You can pray a prayer. You're here tonight. Perhaps you're unsaved. You're backslid. You're not right with God. You're lost. Sin's caught you. You're terrified that you're going to hell. Pain and agony of bad decisions. You can pray a simple prayer. I prayed a prayer 47 years ago. A child can pray that prayer. I simply said, God, forgive me. I'm not right. I'm not living for you. I need help, God, in this. And God heard that prayer. And here I stand 47 years later. That began with a prayer. You're here tonight. Would you begin with that prayer? Would you begin with that prayer? You're here, you say, Pastor, I need prayer tonight because I'm not right with God. I'm unsaved, I'm lost, I'm backslidden. I need to come home tonight. I need God's forgiveness. I need to be born again. You lift your hand. Lift your hand, front to back, side to side. Lift it up that I can see it. Lift it up that I can see it. God bless you. I see your hand. Thank you for your honesty. Who else will join this young lady? That's me. That's me. Not right with God. I need to get right with God. Who else? You lift your hand. Are there others? Are there others? Backslider. Playing games. Coming to church. Maybe even raised in church. But not really converted. You lift your hand and say, that's me. I want to pray tonight. God bless you. I see a hand in the back. God bless you. Thank you. Who else? Who else? Who else? Before we change the order of this service, you lifted your hand. Would you lift it one more time and look at me? You sincere with God? I want you to come and find a place to pray. In the back.